What's up? It's been a while. We do not apologize. We are busy people. If you're here, that means you know that. And you love that.
Hello, and welcome to the No Kidding Podcast, where we definitely start very formally and don't just ramble for 5 minutes. Lisa. I am Andrew. And here we are. So, Lisa, you have something to share with the class?
Just that I was scolded. Sorry, teacher. I'm gonna go put my dunce hat on and turn in the corner. I don't know. What was I saying? Was I talking about
our sporadic release schedule as usual?
Yeah, one of these days I feel like
we're gonna start an episode differently.
Yeah, we're gonna start an episode not saying sorry that it's been so long, but yeah, I mean
You weren't. You were saying you weren't sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry that I'm not sorry for saying
that you're sorry.
That I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. We're not sorry because unfortunately, the way that our lives are right now, it's a little crazy. It's hard to get this in, but we love it and we do it when we can. So, stick with us, please. Maybe one day we will, be better at this and have a more consistent schedule, release every week. These are dreams.
I hope I'll be better.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Or else I'm stagnant.
True. You always want to grow and evolve. I
sing Toto while I'm peeing.
Sorry?
I sing Toto's Africa while I pee.
Why?
There's like a little piece of paint torn off my wall. Mm-hmm. And the resulting shape from that peel is the spitting image of Africa.
Interesting. So every time you see Africa, you think of that song? Of
Toto, of course.
Okay. Well, maybe we can get a little rendition.
You want me to sing Toto's Africa?
I mean, unless you could be peeing right now. We wouldn't know. I assume you brought it up because...
Well, we're going to get demonetized.
Oh, of course. Right. Okay, well...
So I have to just say... I just have to say it with no intonation so the bots can't get me. It's going to take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rains down in Africa.
Oh, okay.
I bless the rain. Oh, sorry.
You could have just replaced it with a different country, and then maybe it would have worked. We wouldn't have gotten demonetized, but it's okay.
Oh, true. But then it wouldn't make sense why I would be singing in my bathroom while looking at a paint tear.
Well, you had a backstory, so I feel like people would know. But
you know what's really sad?
What?
Sorry, I keep jumping topics, but...
Well, wait. I mean, I have a topic about things in bathrooms.
Oh, okay,
I have marble in my bathroom. Not real. I don't know if it's real or not, but
okay, brag about it.
No. It's like the marbly type tiles that look like marble. Anyway.
Yeah, cool.
But there are 2 tiles in my bathroom. It's completely separate ends of the bathroom that have the shape of a wolf. And one is just the head, a profile a profile kind of shape. And the other one is just the whole body. But
is this a triangle that's been squeezed a little? Or is this somebody was secretly putting wolfy messages in the tile, the marble?
No, I think it was an accident, but it really resembles a wolf to me. So every time I see it, because one of them is in my shower, so every time I'm taking a shower, I always see that wolf, and I don't really have a song that I sing. I'm just oh, hi, wolf.
Wow.
Yeah.
How defined is his fernium?
What? I don't know. It looks pretty realistic. So, I mean, pretty defined, I'd say.
Cool.
Anyway, what was your tangent?
You lost me on that one. I do have peeling. Oh, that was it. Okay, I do have peeling in my bathroom or in my shower's paint as well. It's really upsetting that I have a house and I have to live in this house and it's not done yet.
That is frustrating.
I'm really appreciative of everything that has been done because it looks amazing. And when I go into certain rooms, I'm like, wow, it's happening, boys. Good game. But then there's other rooms where I'm like, oh, geez. It's been so long and we still haven't we still have paint swatches like painted just like in squares on the in the bathroom right next to the paint tear. So I can every day think about which color I want. For like the past year.
So you're set, right? The problem with waiting so long is you're going to change your mind. Like a couple
Yeah, I don't think I'm having either of those colors. I don't even know where I got those colors, to be honest.
So maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. But we ended up at IKEA the other day, just looking around because we were thinking about, okay, hey, what do you think about this, Lisa? Instead of shelves, okay, ready? You ready?
Yo,
Instead
ready.
of shelves in the pantry, we have drawers.
I love it.
Because it's too deep. I need to get the stuff in the back.
Yes.
So, like, what do? You're always, like, pulling stuff over other stuff, and you got to put the biggest stuff in the back so that you can actually see it.
Yes.
And you got to put the little stuff at the front, and then so when you're pulling the big stuff out, it knocks all the little stuff out of the way.
Yeah. I'm
so
all for that. I love that idea.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if it happens. But we were in IKEA, like, maybe we could get, like, because they have those, they're actually meant for
I know what
like,
you mean. Yeah, they're like,
they're like installations for the bath or for the bedroom. So they're meant to be like the closet that you hang up your. There's meant to be like solutions for hanging shirts and pants and stuff, but then it's all modular, because IKEA.
Right.
So you can just like put in all drawers instead of like coat hangers or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, that'd be a cool idea, but we'll see because obviously it has to fit.
Right.
My pantry's a little smaller than your average
but
closet
you can always
space.
make your own if it doesn't fit. Obviously go the easy way first. But
yeah, see, that mentality of I could always just do it custom is why it's been a year and we haven't done anything.
True.
Everything I'm like, I'll just do it myself. We gotta wait for the price of lumber to fall down, and then I'll be out there every day sawing. And yeah, I mean, I have pretty much filled my time like doing stuff to try and like upgrade the house. Honestly, mostly it's been technological, but organizing and stuff too, and getting hanging up, like, we have a mug wall now. Did you know that?
What's that?
You don't know what a mug wall is?
Oh, I thought you said a mud wall. I'm like, oh.
No, a mug wall.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
Well, you've heard of a mud room, now a mud wall. Yeah, so I have a wall of mugs that I can grab whenever I want coffee, I suppose.
Very cool. I like that because
it's very in vogue.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a lot of, I wouldn't say I have a lot of mugs. I've actually gotten rid of a lot because of this problem of just finding space to put them, like in my cabinets. And then I tried to do the thing where you have them hanging off of like the little hooks. Yeah. And that didn't work. So
why didn't it work?
Because
you better tell me, because
I guess the reason
it's about to happen to me. Whatever happened to you is about to happen to me.
Well, it was the ones where they go towards the depth of the cabinet and hang over the counter,
Okay,
Anyway.
like under the underside of the cabinet.
Yeah, and
cute.
Part of the problem was that the hooks were too close together, so it was too hard to get the mugs.
Oh, you're clinking.
Yeah,
mugs.
you're clinking like way too much, and then it was a hassle if you wanted, because you know how you have specific mugs you prefer over ones that you don't.
The good mugs.
Yeah, and so
then there's the show mugs.
Yeah.
And then there's the neither good nor show mugs, which you're like, why do I have these?
Those are if like everything's dirty and you have no other choice.
It's usually like Disney's 50th anniversary, and you're just like, what? Where'd I get this? Who gave this to me?
Somebody's listening and saying, I gave that to you. Yeah, but see, like, mugs are a big gift thing, and I always feel bad throwing away any kind of mug that I get as a gift, because I'm like, they were really thoughtful about this, and it's usually, something meaningful or something they really put a lot of thought into. So
yeah, definitely a mug. Oh, come on.
Well, I just mean like, I mean, either it's personalized or they were on a trip somewhere and they thought of me while they were on their trip, and I'm like, oh.
Might as well verbally assault them, Lisa. To be fair, though, if you got to fly, bringing a mug back is an ordeal.
That's
like you gotta pack it with. They definitely put their underwear in it to keep it from breaking.
Good thing I washed it.
They're washed. They're unwashed underwear.
Oh, they did. That's true. So anyway, yeah.
I did that for my own glasses on my most recent flight. So.
Oh, you did? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're yours. You weren't gifting them to somebody else.
And they weren't. They were washed. I brought a little too many underwear, so it worked out. You always gotta. If you're gonna overpack on something, it's got to be underwear.
I know. So I'm actually packing for a trip right now because I'm leaving in a couple days. And
wow, we'll talk about this next episode.
Sure, but I'm trying to. You know how you get basically 2 carry-on. Well, you get like an overhead bag, and then you have one that you keep with you on a plane, so you don't have to check a bag.
Your personal item, if you will.
Personal item, but really it's just another bag. So, anyway, I'm trying to fit everything into these 2 bags for, I think it's like a 10-day trip, which is a pretty long trip for just these 2. Anyway, so I'm thinking, but I really want to be minimal because I hate traveling with a bunch of stuff. It's so irritating because it just gets all mixed together. You forget what's dirty, you forget what's washed, or I don't know. So, especially if I have a lot of stuff. So, and to be honest, like there's lots of stuff you can rewear if it's not super gross or dirty. And so anyways, that was my predicament. I was like trying to figure out, but underwear is just one of those things you can't rewear. So it's like, yeah, you want to have as much as possible, or if anything happens to it for whatever reason, like you get wet or dirty or whatever, you want to have backup.
You never want to go commando.
Right.
You never want to be forced commando.
Forced, that's the, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to go commando, then that's fine. But you never want to be forced commando. Remember when we went to New Orleans?
Yes,
we flew to New Orleans.
I loved that trip so much.
How many days was that? I remember the entirety of my packing was in a personal item, like my little satchel.
Oh, really? Yeah. It was, I want to say it was a week. So probably a week and a weekend, like a regular like workday week and a weekend. So probably
it's like
a full week.
I should be in the army.
Yeah, you should.
I could pack all that stuff. I on my most recent trip where I went to Vermont, and I definitely took a lot more stuff. I packed just like you are doing. Like I packed it in a backpack and a personal item. And that was like more than that. Like my personal item ended up being almost empty, which worked out actually because you always want to bring stuff back. You know, you have souvenirs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
speaking of mugs.
Speaking of mugs.
For other people, expect a dirty underwear mug coming soon.
If you give me a mug when you come back, I'm not using it. So
You're
it
right,
was definitely very useful. I did get carded. What do you call it? Pulled aside by TSA, and they said you cannot take jams on the plane. Are you a terrorist?
Oh,
and I was like, is that a liquid? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's debatable. And they're like, not with us. So,
well, okay. So here's the thing. One thing that I'm on a lot of supplements and vitamins and supplements and just things I have to take. And one of the things I have to take, well, I don't have to, it's like recommended, this particular thing. It's a powder version.
Everything's a recommendation.
Well, true.
Unless they're giving it to you intravenously.
Sure. It's voluntary. They're not pushing it down my throat or anything. But so it's a powder, and I was thinking like, oh, can I bring a powder on the plane? Are they going to pull me aside and be like, what is
a white
this powder? It's actually
no, they don't care about cocaine.
They're like, as long as there's not $1 million in cash with it, it's fine.
Right.
Because we will only pull you aside for the cash, so we can keep it. But it's actually like a kind of a blue. It's kind of has like a blue tint to it. So I was like, well, anyway. So I looked up in TSA, and they say that you. So
it's like math.
Well, it could be. Like they don't know. I feel like
bad math.
I feel like it's going to cause. I feel like it's going to cause trouble, and I probably am just fine without it for the trip. You know what I mean? Like, But I don't know, because I don't want to like mess up my whole routine and everything. But
exactly.
They did say that you could bring the powder on there, but it does say, but you might get pulled aside. So I'm like, Okay, well, I don't want to waste time being pulled aside. What if we're running late or something? You know who I'm going with, right? So I'm like,
definitely going to be eking on the plane.
Yeah. No, but it's crazy because we have to be there at 4:30 in the morning. So
wow, that's rough.
Yeah. We have to leave here probably.
I was almost roped into that.
You were? Oh gosh.
Yeah. They wanted to have me drive, and I was
no.
wow, that sounds like a blast.
No, like I've never really been that person that's like, unless it's like a convenient time for somebody to go, but if it's a weird hour, no. Or if it's on a weeknight or like a weekday when they're working or something, like, can you please? There are things.
Can you please?
Like Ubers are a thing now, and I mean taxis have always been a thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I always Uber to the airport. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm lucky to live pretty close to the airport. But
I probably wouldn't want to Uber from here, but we have the option of like parking maybe at mom's house and Ubering from there, and that's not so bad. So, but anyway, we paid for like a overnight parking at the airport, so we just haven't decided who's going to be driving. It's either me or Dad, but there's a whole issue around that as usual. There's something, but anyway, we'll work it out.
There's always something.
Yeah, but that's how travel goes with everybody. I feel like there's always like those logistics to figure out, and you know, nothing ever goes according to plan usually. So luckily we all roll with the punches. We're all pretty good about
I just pack a small bag and Uber to the airport.
Yeah, a little satchel.
A little satchel
military
and a jump on the
satchel.
plane. My military satchel. It's canvas, so I feel very World War II.
That's cool. Did I tell you about... Oh, go ahead.
Meanwhile, Irving could not really close her bag. And she was like, no, I don't need to use in your space. It was partially my fault because I got her a gift right before we went. And I was like, you can use this on the trip. And she's like, well, now I got to pack that.
No,
so that was a mistake.
Now she's obligated. That's true. Yeah, I'm just hoping because like it's either one of those two things. That you always have that fear that you're going to forget something at the before you go, so you overpack. But then when you get there, you're like, why did I pack so much stuff? Now I got to haul it around and
there's always a little bit of contingency. Like you pack a raincoat or something and it never rains.
Right, and that's the thing is we're going where it's going to be hot, and then also when it's going to drop to the 40s. So it's like you have to pack for all weather conditions, and it's also a road trip, or most of it is a road trip, so and every single night we're going to be staying somewhere new, so we can't, it's like you have to pull everything out, put everything back, pull everything out every single night, so you don't want to have a lot of stuff to have to sift through while you're trying to go in and out of the car. So anyway,
right, yeah,
it's a whole
that's crazy.
You really have to be logistic about packing, and then we're also hiking, so it's like, well, I want to have the right shoes and stuff like that, but I also want to have a hiking backpack because I don't want to have to use my luggage backpack for hiking. I don't know. It's just a lot of pieces, but it'll work out.
Yeah, I bring in usually a satchel and a backpack, and then I kind of I like to kind of unpack to a certain degree and wherever I'm staying, if I'm going to be staying there for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
But obviously sometimes it's like a road trip sort of situation. But yeah, I mean, then it's nice because you can just use the backpack as a backpack, and then just have the satchel as your go bag in the car. It's everybody I feel has their little travel system. Yeah. It's this is what I do. I really, what I need to do is I need to formalize it and put it in an actual list, because there's always that thing where I feel like I haven't done it so far, because in my head I'm like, well, each trip is different. I'm going to need different stuff. But there's really only two major types of vacations, and then a lot of variations of that. But there's going to be a good handful of stuff that you're going to want: your charger, your toothbrush, the kind of stuff that you're well, obviously I'd remember that. It's well, maybe not.
Yeah, that's true. But that's another thing. Tim mentioned, our older brother Tim, who was going, he mentioned as long as you have your basic essentials, if you forget something, you can always just buy it there. Hopefully it's nothing expensive like camera or a jacket, but yeah, as long as you have your basics, you're pretty good. Even if you forget underwear, you could always just go to Walmart, buy some underwear for a little while. But
yeah, you'd think. I feel like in Vermont there was so little,
really?
like there was almost no, just like a CVS or something. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's like all just like rural farms and stuff. It's so weird. Mm-hmm. Like there's little shops, like you'll go into town and there's like little shops, but they're like eclectic, and I don't know where to really go. That like it'll just be a shop that has stuff, and I'm like, this might have socks or something, and I go in there and there's like no socks anywhere in the whole store, wow. Even though they have all other kinds of clothes, and I'm just like,
no
I don't know
socks.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's just like, it's interesting. Yeah, I wonder how true. Like I'm sure there is a place to get all this stuff, obviously, like people in Vermont wear socks, but I don't know, because I'm like so used to having a ubiquitous like CVS or Walgreens on like every corner.
True. That's true. It is different everywhere you go.
And it's got to be so much harder when you're overseas and like
oh yeah.
Like non-Western countries and stuff, where I feel like especially where you don't know the language or anything and you're just looking at the signs like
just carry like a picture of a sock with you. I need this. Where can I get it?
I just see like a room full of socks. I'm like, perfect. And I walk in and the person's like, what are you doing? This is my house. And I'm like, I don't know.
I thought this was a store.
Can I have some of these? And like, these are my socks. I'm a sock hoarder.
Then you start fighting over it. You pull it back and forth. Like,
why does this feel like a Seinfeld episode?
I don't know. Actually, we recently watched what is it called? National Lampoon's Goes to Europe, I think it was called.
Oh,
it's nice. Like one of those vacation. Yeah, it was kind of funny. But there was one
Chevy Chase thing.
They're supposed to meet up with their extended family who live there, and I want to say it was like Italy or somewhere. But they've obviously never met them before because they live over there. But they've been in communication, like, "Hey, we're going to be there. Can we visit?" They're like, "Yeah, you can visit." But they get there and they're running, all these things happen to them, obviously. And then they end up going to the wrong house, but they think they're at the right house. But the couple that live there they're just really nice. So they let them in and they're like trying to figure out what's going on. They don't speak the same language. And anyway, they end up like spending the night there and having dinner and then they get up the next morning and they leave, and the couple's kind of like, who are these people? Can you
imagine like if that happened, like some French person came over and they didn't speak any English and they were just knocking on your door and they're just babbling in French and they just kind of like walk in and you're like, okay, let's have dinner. And then they're like, well, we're getting tired, or, they're acting tired. And you're like, yeah, I guess sleep on the couch here. Have a good night. Exactly.
So funny.
Insane. Have you seen the modern Seinfeld Twitter?
No, I don't think
so. It's called at Seinfeld Today. Maybe is that the right one? I think there's a couple like these. There's like, it's like a genre, but it's like it's essentially they're tweets that are the synopsis of. It's almost like they do the synopsis of the latest Seinfeld episode, but as if it never went off the air. Like, so, like, every week they have a new tweet about, like, something, like, the new episode of Seinfeld and, like, the plot points behind it.
Oh.
But it's, like, it's been going, like, since it went off the air. And it's just like, I don't know. It's been a long time. And they're just talking about it. And it's obviously, like, modernized. Like, it's become, like, it's as if it were still running today. And, like, they have, like, the modern problems instead of, like, the way it is in the 90s.
Oh, that's funny. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Like there's Kramer thinks the NSA is spying on him, so he goes off the grid, except he uses Jerry's phone and computer and email. He said, "You're just on my grid." Get it?
Yeah, I get it. That's funny.
It's pretty funny. I don't know who would have thought of that as a social media thing. Like I feel like there is so many. Like obviously social media and a lot of these sites, I mean, I'm just saying social media in general, a lot of these sites have like a quote unquote point to them. Yeah. But then I love to see when people like kind of subverse it or like get meta or something like that, or just like do something weird that's like not just communicating with people, like using a messaging platform to do other things. Or my favorite are like weird subreddits and stuff, especially like super meta ones that, like are self-referential. I think I've talked about this before, how like the Super Bowl subreddit is actually a bunch of pictures of superb owls because people loved that they could the moderators like got a hold of it before somebody like got the Super Bowl subreddit.
That's
So they're
funny.
just like they turned it into the Superb Owl subreddit. But yeah. I'm trying to think of another one. Oh, there's Our Anime Titties. Have you heard of that one?
What is it? Our anime?
Our Anime Titties.
Oh.
It's all politics. It's
Really?
a subreddit for world politics, because at one point, like the world politics subreddit was getting lambasted with images of anime titties to try and get them like shut down and banned.
Oh.
Like, so they were essentially trying to just like shut down the platform. Somebody was doing it by just like spamming it with like not safe for work images. And so somebody got the subreddit Anime Titties and made it a political subreddit.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
People are so creative. See, this is why I love the internet. I mean, yes, there's a lot of like crazy things, but I don't know. There's just a lot of creativity and people out there that you can relate to that just make things so much better. There's so many people in the world that are so hilarious.
Yeah. It really makes you like connect with somebody when you realize like what they were thinking, like what was going on behind their actions. And it, like, because I feel like a lot of the internet feels sort of impersonal and it's just kind of like random people.
Yeah.
But when you see somebody like being wittier and intelligent, you're like, man, there's some really clever people on the internet.
Yeah, totally. I love the comment sections of things. You can always find some
real gold in there. You can also find some real ridiculous stuff in there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it can be, just...
Right, that's what makes the good stuff that much more fascinating. It's just like, because it comes out of a sea of like awful stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, well, these are just people that have like putting zero effort into what they're like spewing out into the world. And then meanwhile, like somebody will come in with just a really awesome rendition of something.
It's like their viewpoint or it's kind of summarized. I love the sarcastic ones. To me, they're just like, that's gold. I love, like, it's so funny how witty people are. But also, I can't remember now. It just completely snapped out of my brain.
Was it something about my copper nail polish?
It was. How did you know?
I've been really into copper lately. I don't know. Maybe it's it's like seasonal, I think. Like, because it's autumnal, you know? It feels like it's the gold of autumn. That's TM.
Okay. I feel you.
Copper is the gold of autumn. It's the most autumnal metal. Yeah, no, I don't know. I also got, like for my 3D printer, I got plastic it shimmers and is like, it's essentially copper looking. So when you print stuff, it kind of looks like it's a metallic. It's like printed out of copper.
Neat.
So that's been fun. So I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of drowning in copper aesthetic right now.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I think copper looks good as a part of home decor sometimes, where it's kind of
rustic.
As
an accent.
Yeah, it has kind of a rustic feel, but it's also classy at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I got these like these little copper tacks that I've been holding up like posters and stuff in my house with. So that's another copper thing that I've been dealing with.
Little accents here and there.
Looks nice.
Like
that or like really any kind of like, I feel like copper and gold are related in that way. Like silver, it just kind of looks like metal. It could be stainless steel. Like you honestly can't tell. But with like copper and gold, they have such a distinct, and brass too. Even though it's like obviously close to gold, it just doesn't have that. You can tell.
Right.
It's like a little more polished. But yeah, I love those kinds of cool looking metals.
Yeah.
I've been printing a lot of I'm printing like props and stuff for the first time with my 3D printer. It's one prop, but it's so big it requires many pieces to be printed out. And it's fun because they color code, the person who made these color coded like each piece and be like, okay, these things are meant to stick together, so they're going to have they can be like one color, and then this is going to be the accent piece colors or whatever, and like they're all kind of divided by the color they are, so you can like print them in different filaments. So I made one of them was just supposed to be red, but I made it copper, and I'm like, this is going to be dope.
Nice. Good choice. Is it more expensive, like the copper?
Not really. It's like obviously it's fake. There's no copper in it. It's just like it's essentially shimmery orange.
Yeah,
it's like a silky kind of filament with an orange hue to it. So
I mean, it's kind of different than your standard colors, though.
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but not like anything crazy. Nothing to. It actually came in like a 3-pack of other kind of metals. Like it came with a gold and a silver. But like I said, silver is just kind of like metal. But that's still cool to have. Like if I wanted to make something like gunmetal looking, you know.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think it's going to look pretty cool. I'm like building this prop from Cyberpunk 2077, the like smart submachine gun, and it's just like it's probably one of the smallest things in the game, honestly, like besides like some of the pistols and stuff, but it's very small, and yet it still takes so long to print every little piece. Like I've been using my 3D printer to actually solve actual practical problems around my house. Like I'm trying to print a shelf to hold my coffee. And it requires it to be printed in 2 pieces. Wow. And just printing those 2 pieces. Oh, I didn't mention this is in my fridge. You know how the fridges have like specific slots, I guess, that you can. Yeah. So I printed one, and one half of it, and it's just been so difficult to print the other half that it just keeps failing, and the prints take like 20 hours sometimes to like totally complete. So if it fails in like the last 2 hours, you're just like, well, great, there goes 18 hours and like a quarter spool of plastic.
Yeah.
But it is nice when you finally have like a super custom solution. Oh, I guess I should apologize to the audience again. This is just my life now. I'm printing something right now, so you probably hear it in the background, a little bit of a hiss. This is just the situation life. These prints, like I'm saying, they take like 24 hours. So like, what am I going to do? I've already got so many things I need to print. I'm basically printing 24/7 now.
Oh my gosh.
So
it's like
going.
Your part-time job.
Well, I'm not doing anything. It's my printer's part-time job.
I know.
It's my printer's full-time job.
Press or printing like factory.
A fabricator maker space. So I should probably, because this is so ironic. I built this nice office and I filled it with acoustic panels and stuff to, have a neat little podcast studio. And then I put a bunch of noisy stuff inside of it. So,
wow.
So I got to take it, and I don't know, maybe I can use this closet here and build like a little shelf for it. That'd be cute. Yeah. And I'll have it out of the way. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll put it in the closet next to me. Hopefully, I wonder if it'll get hot. We'll see.
It's always like, I love how creativity produces more creativity as you go.
Exactly. Yeah. It begets, especially anything that's like, this is what I love about this hobby, is like the maker hobby of like, whether you're like carpentry or anything that has like a practical application. Like the first step is just like get the tool and make something super basic with it. But like step 2 is to make a meta tool that's like a tool to help you make more tools or something like that. It's always like with carpenters, it's like, build a rail system for your table saw, or for like me, it's like print a shelf so that you can hold more spools of plastic. And it's just like it's basically a factory that like builds itself.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I'm trying to, that could be like a whole animation of like one thing starts and then eventually it creates this whole world, this whole city.
I would love to like in a show or something, like somebody take on a hobby and spend a whole bunch of time like building up their whole perfect workshop, like their perfect working workshop, and have like all little tiers for every different kind of lumber and little shelves that are built out of all their finest woods, and some extended like table saw space, and then some custom built workhorses and all this stuff to make wood. And then when they're finally done, their workshop is complete. They're like, oh, well, what else would I make? I'm done.
True. Yeah.
And then you just have the perfect woodworking shop and nothing to make in it.
Right. Exactly. Because at that point, now what?
It's like, I don't care about anything else. I'll just buy it from IKEA if I want to have a piece of furniture.
It's all a waste.
Yeah. You know what I bought from IKEA?
It's about the journey.
There's a random tangent. How about this journey?
Okay.
This was an impulse purchase, as their whole business model, works upon. I bought an hourglass, a 10-minute hour. What's a 10-minute glass? Sorry, it's not an hourglass. It's a 10-minute glass.
Okay.
From IKEA, and it's like my favorite new little desk thing.
That's
I
cool.
just flip it over every now and then and watch it.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds really nice. I love stuff like that. Although
it's actually a great visual way to like mark how much time I've been working on something. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
It's true. We use timers a lot in therapy. So I like the sand ones. However, they do get knocked over and then it ruins everything. But
and then it's like, look what happened. We'll have to start over.
Yeah. So, but they are really great, especially if you're if you're like consumed with a project or something. It's nice to have that visual. Rather than a stupid digital clock, you know? Like, it would be nice to have one of those while you're working out, kind of. Or maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it'd be so daunting if you're like working out and then you look up and you're like, oh, it's only been like...
You're like, I can't see the sand going down fast enough.
Yeah. It's like, hurry up. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, timers can be cool. Depending on what kind they are. I know there's some that are like for therapy we use all different ones, but usually they are digital. But there's some that where it's like a plant that grows.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and at the end, obviously, like if you complete everything you're supposed to complete in the right amount of time, then it produces a flower or it produces like a fruit or whatever. Like
I think you told me about this. Yeah, that's cool. And then you get like a collection of them.
Right, like for every task you do or whatever. Yeah, like it gives you points for how far along your plant grows.
It hacks into your collectible human nature.
Basically, yeah. But it doesn't always work. It's not always super motivating. But I like it. I personally like it. I mean, not all the kids love it. But we have other ones which kids actually like the candle one where it's a candle burning and then it burnt, like when it gets down to the bottom, it's, you know, like it melt, like all the wax is like
they're using the wrong kind of psychology though. Because like I would just want to stare at anything that's burning.
That's true. They do actually. They keep looking up and like want to see it. They're like, look up. But are like, where is it now? But that's true with every timer. So I don't know if that's just because it's a candle. But anyway, yeah, they have other ones. And they have one where it's a bomb. And
oh, geez.
Yeah, like
race the clock.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's all different ones, but I personally like the physical one like you have, like the sand one or something like that would be kind of neat.
How do you feel about the like tactile ones where you can like, it's like the egg timers where you can go like, and then you hear the like.
I don't love the ticking noise, to be honest. So.
And then when it reaches the thing, it's like.
No, my gosh. That ringing noise. Like, I've been watching some old movies and old shows back when there was telephones, you know, and they're like ringing.
It's like a physical bell.
And I have like a very bad reaction to that. Well, not like very bad. That's exaggerating.
You break out in hives.
No, I just like cringe. So I'm like, that sound. It's like so. It's not a nostalgic feeling. It's a. I can't believe.
Oh yeah, what would be the word for that? Like trauma, I guess.
Trauma.
Anti-nostalgia.
Yeah, trauma.
What is anti-nostalgia? Something that you remember not fondly from your past. Very viscerally, though.
Yeah, it would have to be, something along the lines of trauma. I don't know.
Something along the lines of trauma. That's the name of this episode.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a terrible name for an episode, but I like it. But yeah, they actually have that sound on your cell phone. I'm like, who would ever choose that as a ring?
All people.
No, really?
I would assume so. They have nostalgia for it.
Do they though? Because
that's when their friends would call them.
I guess, yeah. I guess it could have been an exciting time for them. But
yeah,
it was so loud, obnoxious.
I know that like there used to be a trick that you could like reduce the volume essentially of your physical ring bell by putting like cotton balls under the bell.
Oh, wow!
So it would turn it from being that like ringing sound to more of like a
yeah. But if you're on the other side of the house, you know.
It's pretty loud. I don't know. Like, I remember for the longest time, you know, Mom's house, her doorbell is broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's been broken like I don't know, since I've been born.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like I pretty much like, I think I was like 5 when that thing broke.
I honestly don't ever remember having a doorbell, so I don't know.
I could still tell though when people ring the doorbell.
Oh.
Because I hear it goes like there. I can hear like the little actuator like trying to ring the bell.
Right, yeah.
And so like it would work. Like I would just be like, okay, thank you. Like it's a much more pleasant doorbell. It's a less intrusive doorbell.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I was in the back of that, especially that house, like I feel like the back room is very isolated. If I would hear it, but
yeah,
that's fine. I don't need to talk to anybody anyway.
Well, now I have the Ring doorbell where we do, and so
you're forced to talk to people.
No, actually the opposite, because I can see who it is and be like, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That is nice.
But
you don't have to worry about like how like discreetly can I peek out the window.
Right. And also, and they know that you're looking, but
exactly. So that's why I was going to say you're forced to talk to them, because I feel like you at least have to be like, oh, hey, sorry, I'm not at home. And they're like, why does it sound like it's echoing? It sounds like I can hear you inside saying that. No.
I just say,
why are all your cars here?
I was in the shower. Or, I didn't hear the door. Because I actually, when my phone's on silent, I don't hear the doorbell. I just see the notification later if I look at my phone. But if my phone is on Ring or whatever, it just says, someone's at your door. It just nicely, like, tells me that someone's there.
What, you have the Ring?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I like it a lot because I can always check, like, if DoorDash or something drops off food, you can look and wait for them to leave before you go out, so you don't have to.
Oh, that's the most awkward thing. I've gotten the notification before that they like,
yeah,
that they're done, and like that usually only comes if they've taken a picture of the food or whatever. But I've opened the door before, and they're taking a picture of the food right there, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, and they're like,
I know,
put some pants on, and I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, that's happened to me so many times where now I'm like, I have to look because, yeah, they don't drive away either. They'll sit there and watch you, and I'm like, oh, hi.
The worst one. Okay, like I love that. Like this is gonna sound bad. I love that COVID made contactless delivery a thing.
Me too.
I don't love COVID, obviously, but
right.
I love that it made it a contactless society.
Right.
The problem is that there are still people that do like weird like stuff that I feel like is a big faux pas where. If you order contactless stuff, people will like knock on your door.
Yes.
And then they'll walk away. It's like they're ding dong ditching you.
That kind
of. And I'm like, excuse you.
I know.
And it sets off my dog and everything.
Yes.
And I'm just like, ugh, great.
I know. And sometimes UPS or something, like if they drop off a package, usually they'll just leave it and leave. But sometimes they'll ring the doorbell or knock. And I'm like, why did you do that? Like,
I'm going to get like I don't know if people will get mad or like will respect it if I say a dog. I feel like I want to hang a sign outside that says like I have a sleeping baby or something. Well, which could be true too.
That's true.
Like, what are people up to?
I know. Not everybody cares, but the worst for me with the whole DoorDash thing or packaging or whatever, but usually just DoorDash, is so we have a glass door that you have to go through to get to our front door. So like you have to open a glass door out, so it opens out towards the outside, and our front door opens into the house, so they're opposite. Okay. But anyways. So
what, like opposite is in out or opposite is in left right?
Opposite is in out.
Okay.
So anyway,
I forgot how your door works.
there's so many times where maybe they are assuming that the glass door opens into the house like a front door would, but it doesn't. So they leave the bags.
Do you get to watch them like try and open the door?
No, they don't open the door. They put it right in front of the door. So we have to go. We have to go out through the garage and all the way around to the front to get the food, rather than just opening our front door and getting it, because we can't open the door when they put the food there. Because if there's drink or something,
you need to have like a welcome mat or an unwelcome mat that just says like don't put here, put there, and have an arrow.
An unwelcome mat. Unwelcome. I've never seen that before, but that's funny.
Drinks are unwelcome here. So has this happened? Have you spilled a drink?
Well, if they put it just far enough, sometimes I can reach my arm out. It's a whole thing, but like I can reach my arm out. You think
they're in their car like watching it?
Like sometimes I think it's a prank. I'm like, really? How are you that? I don't know. But it's happened enough times where it's like kind of funny, but most people are are pretty smart dashers and they put it off to the side. But I'm like, sometimes it just looks so intentional because they put it in just far enough that your arm won't reach. Like, you can't get your arm out, and you also can't open the door. It's like they put it in that perfect spot where you have no choice but to go through the garage. Anyway, it's a small problem to have, to be honest. Like, I never get that mad about it. It's just one of those. Yeah,
it's just kind of weird. Have you tried putting, like, writing it in the, because what I've tried to do for the knocking, which I feel like it helps mostly, is I put in, like, there's like a comment section for, like, instructions on how to leave it at your door, and, like, say, like, don't put it right in front of the door.
Yeah. Mike's always the one that orders DoorDash, so I don't actually do, but sometimes I'll order Instacart or, like, groceries, and I will.
Oh, yeah.
I will.
They always knock.
Yeah, they do.
For me.
Well, I'm trying to think if they do, because I think I actually say in the instructions, I usually say, leave at door, don't knock or something. I do say in there, like, don't ring the bell. I think I say, like, leave by the door, don't ring the bell, please leave it away from the glass door.
It's like a hostage situation.
I know, like, I feel bad.
You're like, come alone, have the briefcase in a metal briefcase with the combination 4005.
Oh, yeah, I know. I try to be, like, really nice about it, but it's not a lot of instructions. It's just like 3, but nobody's ever complained, and they've always been very nice and very, like, they've always listened to the instructions.
Yeah, that's definitely like a tip deciding situation.
Yeah. But I hate that sometimes you have to tip ahead of time, because I'm like...
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like with Uber Eats, you can change it afterwards, but you have to tip at the beginning, which is weird.
Yeah. But I get that. Like, the problem with tipping later, I guess, is, like, you might forget, or you might be like, whatever. But when you're checking out, you kind of... It forces you to. So
yeah,
it's like, at least to get something in case you forget or whatever. But there's been so many times too. Like, I don't know, so with DoorDash, they have this new feature, which I think we talked about a long time ago, that we were talking about, like, stacked orders, and how you were saying with Uber Eats, you could pay more for them to not do that.
I think, stacked orders?
Like, stacking them so that they go to multiple houses before, like, at once.
Yeah, like you can pay for priority, so you like.
Well,
but a lot of times they don't anyway. Like, it's only if you have to kind of, like, almost guess, like, is this going to be a busy time?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is it worth it?
So DoorDash has that now, where you can pay for priority so that they just go straight to your house or whatever. But yeah, like you said, like, sometimes they'll do it and sometimes they still won't, or sometimes it's too.
Oh, really?
It's really busy, and so it's like you pay $3 extra, but it still takes the same amount of time or something. I don't know. But
you know what an Uber did to me recently?
What?
I was in the Uber. This was an Uber ride.
Oh.
And I was riding somewhere, and the person, like, drives past our destination. We're like, oh, it's right back there. And they're like, uh-huh. And then we're like, we can get out here. And he's like, uh-huh. And then he kind of, like, pulls up a little forward and, like, over. And it's like, at this point, we're like a block away. And we're like, that's weird. And then we, like, get out and start walking. And there was, like, already a person there waiting and got in the car.
Oh.
I was like, he drove to his next fare.
Yes, that's exactly what he
like,
did.
Left us a block away from the actual place that we were trying to go. And he's like, oh, perfect, right here? Okay, cool. I'm just like, what the hell?
That's hilarious. But isn't he kind of missing out on that one block of time?
Yeah, it seems like it wouldn't be that difficult to to just do it differently. Have you seen the people the Ubers that will, like, try and get you?
No.
So this happened to me at the airport, but I guess, like, it's a thing that can happen anywhere. Like, or Ubers will just pull up and they're like, oh, you looking to order an Uber? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, just like, press for this location and then you'll see a black sedan or something and click that one. And then I'm like, what? And so, like, they're, like, trying to get your business. Like, they're coming to you and they're like, all right, you start it up. You say, like, specifically this type of ride, and then, like, I'll accept it.
Interesting.
Essentially.
They're just, like, cutting the wait time. They're like, hey, you need one?
You can go right now.
Yeah.
He was an Uber XL too, so he was like, this is the primo. This is like $15 ride right now. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive.
Well, that's why. Because he's like, I can get you for all you're worth. Yeah.
You gotta proselytize your own worth when you're upcharging like that.
True.
But to be fair, I definitely think there's some people that would pay for the convenience of like getting out of the airport as quick as humanly possible.
Yeah, definitely. You think
like that's probably the worst part of the end of a vacation is standing there at the terminal waiting for your Uber or even if you're having someone like drive you, like find you.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But I would think that like you would start like requesting your Uber shortly after you get off the plane, not like when you're standing there waiting for one.
Yeah, I feel like they get mad though because if sometimes they're like right there, like they'll accept it immediately, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then you're like, I still got 5 minutes, and they're like, well, boo, and they cancel the ride and thumbs you down. So
true that.
So it's a gamble every time.
Everything's a gamble. Life's a gamble. I was thinking about that.
Gambling's a gamble.
Everything's a gamble.
Gaming's a gamble.
Everything is a gamble. Everything. I dare you. Don't fight me.
I'm not fighting you. I'm naming all of the things. I just haven't gotten to them all. So, did you liked your ring? You're saying
I do. Yeah.
Specifically asking because I'm really deep into security cameras right now. Actually, what I'm printing on my printer by me is a bracket.
I was going to say
to hold
a camera. What?
To hold my security camera.
Yeah.
In the specific angle that I want it to be held at, and it's going to be like flush with the wall and everything. It's going to look so good.
Very cool.
But I probably shouldn't jinx myself, but it is. I've gotten it working at least. It's up there right now, just kind of haphazardly put in place, and I got it working with like Home Assistant and everything. So it's like on my nice little dashboard, and it's like so aesthetic and satisfying to just be able to like pull up my smart home thing, and there's just like the feed of my living room.
Oh yeah.
But the next thing I want to add is the front door thing, because I'm hoping that will cut down on any knocking, like even the times that I do need people to knock. Like for certain orders and stuff, like they make you come out, and then like people I know coming over,
right?
And then like knocking on the door. So I would like to have that. I'm honestly worried though about if people will even care or like look and see that there's a doorbell and just knock. Do you have people that knock anyway, or like regardless? You have a little bit of a benefit because you have a 2-door system, so they kind of have to go through a door to get to your door to knock.
Right. No.
So I feel like that dissuades people.
We never really get knockers, but we do get people that ring and
ringers.
Yeah. And then,
but that's fine because you can like mute it, right? That's why I'm kind of wondering how the ring works.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could definitely mute it. Mine's muted.
And then you just get the notification on your phone, right? Yeah.
Like it comes up.
And does it come up with like a picture of who's out front, or just like instantly it has a video feed?
Well, not a video feed. Like the alert itself has like a little picture of a snapshot of like who's there. But if you press it and open it, then you can watch the video immediately. Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty nice.
Might do that.
Trying to think if there's any downsides to it. I don't think so.
I think the ring is kind of nice because it's pretty cheap and affordable as well, right? Like
it's not that bad. We do get false rings sometimes where like if there's bugs or animals outside, it'll alert us and say, hey, there's motion at your door.
And it's like and you get a picture of a moth like flopping against your camera. Yeah, that's funny. How do you have it hooked up? Is it like the battery powered one? Or is it like wired directly to yours?
It's wired.
Ah, you're so lucky. I have doorbell wires, but I don't think they work. First of all, I've already like closed up the hole where the doorbell used to be because it wasn't real anymore. Like they ended up putting in, the previous owners like ripped out the doorbell ringer and the doorbell, I don't know, whatever it is, the actual doorbell itself, the button. And so they just kind of like put over like a wireless system that just like phones the thing inside and tells it to ring,
Yeah.
And so we ended up like throwing that out, and then just during the remodel and everything, at some point that got like plastered over and then it got painted over. So now I have wires there to wire it up, but I'm pretty sure they're not powered. That would be scary if they were, because they're just bare wires. So yeah, I don't know if I'll have to like go digging around in my attic. Maybe I can like find the other end of the wires.
Yeah.
Everything with home renovation ends up getting me sweaty somehow.
Of course. Especially, you have to know the right time of year to do it, too. So.
I actually, though, I will say the one nice thing about my attic is that the insulation is not on the bottom, it's against the roof.
Yeah.
So they actually they put the insulation directly against the roof. So my attic is actually like a really nice cool temperature as long as I don't stay in there too long, like breathing and heating it up.
True. I am very lucky that I am with someone who does it for a living. So, like, he does smart homes and he does,
he knows all the systems.
He's an AV guy. So he's like, yeah, he does smart homes and AVs and those crazy nice homes. So he's used to that, and he knows how to like hook everything up. He knows like about security systems and smart home technology and all that. So
cool.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate with that, because that was one of his big things when we first moved into was he's like, we got to get this, we got to get that. And so we've kind of digitalized
I know just the things.
Everything. Yeah. And he knows the ones that are like that, like, because our front door lock, like it has like the code to get in and out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, just because I was looking it up for the cabin situation that we have up north. And a lot of people online were saying, well, the battery life is terrible. You have to change it, like every 3 months or whatever. I mean, we've changed, since we've lived here, we've changed our battery on our front door once. And we've lived here like 4 years. So,
do you have the ones that it unlocks for you?
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah, it does.
Well, I was thinking maybe you meant the kind that just have some just have a pad, and then you can go and like type in, like if you forget your keys or something, you like type in the code and it'll unlock your door in that sense, but it won't like unlock it via like apps. It's not like smart enabled essentially.
Oh, yeah, no, we can go into an app and unlock it, or we can push in a code and unlock it. I always just push in a code because I just never think to go to the app, to be honest. But it's just nice that I don't have to like carry an extra key with me when I go on walks or something like that.
Do you ever feel like the worry with keys that a murderer is going to be chasing you and you're like, what's the code? I don't remember.
No, I know my code, but yeah, I guess there is that extra time you have to take to type it in. But I don't think that it'd be the same amount of time as putting a key in.
Yeah, I mean, getting your keys out, finding the right key, and then like putting it in the hole, and like you obviously always put it upside down, and then you.
Yeah, the only two downsides I have about it are it's kind of loud when it goes when it like opens and closes, like the lock, the mechanical part, which it's probably not that loud, but I feel like
it always either appends or precedes opening the door, which I feel like must be louder.
Yeah, probably, but it's right next to. Like, the front door is right next to Mike's room, and sometimes he's still sleeping because we have, like, totally different sleep schedules. So he'll be sleeping. I'll want to go out on a walk or something, but I'm like, oh, now I have to bring my key because, like, I'm afraid it'll wake him up if it makes that noise or whatever. But then he's like, just forget it. Just do it anyways. I don't care. So I always was kind of, like, concerned about that. But then the other thing was it kept locking faster than I wanted it to. Like, sometimes I'll want to like run in or run out. The door will be unlocked.
Oh, you can't set the timeout?
Well, you can, but I didn't know that. So for a long time,
you lived with it.
I lived with it because I was like, oh, and it would just be so annoying because I would run in to do something, and then the door would because our door kind of closes on its own. It doesn't stay open. I don't know, but it doesn't close all the way. It just like, I don't know, swings closed, but not all the way. So then the thing would go, the lock would automatically relock because it relocks after a certain amount of time. And and so yeah, like sometimes it wouldn't be lined up right, and then it wouldn't do this thing because I'm like and I used to complain about it, and he's like, well, I could just extend the time, and I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that?
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I was going to ask you this, and now I feel like maybe you answered it, but perhaps you have a different answer. Is there anything about your smart home that has really annoyed you?
Other than that door lock, which I love. It was really just the timing of it, which now it's fine. No, I can't think of anything that's
just 100% convenience all the time.
Well, pretty much.
Nice. That's the dream.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's like I've gotten so used to it that I don't think of it as being that, like, it doesn't affect my life really that much. But then if I didn't have it, I feel like it would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so convenient that it just saves me a lot of time for certain things and money. So, like, I think the best smart home thing that we did was get that thermostat. You know, that's connected to your app, and it's programmable and everything like that. And I think mom should get something like that because she has such trouble with her AC and everything.
Yeah, I wonder if that would confuse her more.
I don't know,
but I do know that her thermostat does have, like, it's really intent on being, like, semi-smart and having, like, schedules, and, like, it's always once you set up days of the week, and it's actually super infuriatingly confusing. Like, whenever I'm trying to get her AC to work, I'm pressing through, and literally, like, you can't just, like, I mean, I guess you can, but I like, it only happens randomly for me. I don't know how I do it, but it's just like, it always wants you. It's like when I'm setting the temperature, it's like, you're setting this as the temperature for, like, such and such a day. And sometimes it's like Saturday or something, and it's like Wednesday IRL. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, so I got to, like, flip through and get to the right time. And then I think that just, like, permanently sets that as the temperature for that time going forward. It's so weird.
Oh yeah. That could be really annoying. Yeah. We have, we have, I think we have, does Ring make, I feel like it's a Ring, but that can't be right.
It's, if it's the Amazon one, yeah, I don't know. I know the Nest is the Google one. And Ring is owned by Amazon.
I think it's the Nest.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
So let me check. Yeah, it's a Nest. So.
Do you have the cool one that's is it the dial, or is it it's the dial that's a mirror? Have you seen that one?
Dial that's a mirror. Yeah,
it looks like a little compact mirror stuck to the wall or something, but then like shining, like, behind the mirror, like a smart mirror, I guess. It shows, like, a temperature, and then, like, it's just, like, touch sensitive, so you just, like, rub your finger along the outside of the mirror, and it, like, turns the temperature up and down.
No, I think that's one of the newer ones. Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, it looks super fancy, but it got, like, because I'm in the smart home sphere, it got kind of bad reviews.
Oh, really?
Because it's like, it looks cool,
yeah,
but it doesn't have, like, all the cool, like, features you'd actually want from, like, a smart thermostat.
Yeah, no, we have I don't know, I guess one of the older ones, but it's really good. I like it a lot. And it saved us a lot of money.
Cool.
So that's always
that's always nice. Yeah, that is cool when if you, like, set it up, and, like, obviously the Nest and stuff has like, where it'll automatically learn your schedule or whatever. But I feel like I live, I mean, a little less so these days, but I live, like, I don't think it would help because I live a lifestyle that's, like, I'm not really gone consistently at specific times. Like, I work from home, so most of the time, if I'm leaving my house, it's usually just because, like, something random came up and I'm, like, going to run an errand, or I'm going to, like, go to a party or something, or, you know, just do an event. So True. I don't know if that would help me, but I do like some people have I've seen, I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I once watched this guy, remember I said he turned his house into a thermal battery? It's Technology Connections on YouTube. Oh. This guy had he did a video where he basically, like, got his house really, really, really cold at night while he was in bed, because he likes that. And then that was off hours. That's off peak hours. So he, like, pays really cheaply for that power. And then, like, he just turns off his AC through the day, and his house just, like, slowly warms up. Obviously he doesn't live in Florida.
Right.
But so throughout the day, he doesn't have to run his AC at all. And it just gets, like, you know, to the 80s by, like, 5, or I don't know, whenever off peak hours would start again. I think he said, like, 9.
Nice.
So, like, he worked out the system where he basically was paying for, like, way less energy, even though he is home all day. But yeah, other than that, I don't know, because I like a pretty consistent temperature, like, even when I'm sleeping and stuff. So,
right.
Bummer.
That's true.
One thing that I think would be super cool, but I don't know any cheap way to implement it without getting like an AC technician out here and like an electrician and stuff is getting like smart vents and being able to like cool rooms independently of each other. And like, how cool would it be if you could just like cool your bedroom while you're sleeping and then like have the rest of the house be like whatever temperature?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea too. I think, I mean, in certain homes you can, but like you said, you need the smart vents, like turn them off and on. So that's true. Like I was going to say our thermostat does that too. I don't know if it completely turns off when it's during the day, but it's definitely warm here during the day but so like when it's pretty much whenever Mike leaves the house, because he's the one that it's programmed to learn. And so, but there's days where he's gone, but I'm working from home, and eventually I'll be like, oh, like I'm feeling kind of hot.
Roasting.
But it actually never really gets that hot. It's usually like when I'm doing a lot of physical something, like if I'm moving around a lot or something, I'll notice it more frequently. And then I'm like, oh yeah, the thermostat's not on, or like not set right. But then I could just go over and turn it to whatever I want it on, and then it'll turn on, and then it doesn't, and it remembers that next time at this day, it does the regular thing. But like it doesn't do what Mom's does, where it resets it for the week or whatever, or the rest of the whatever.
And you should be glad.
Yeah. So, and then another thing is like when he's on his way home at certain times, it'll start to cool the house. So I always know like kind of when he's on his way, because the AC
the AC kicks on. You're like, oh, finally, he's coming home.
Well, to be honest, like I hardly ever notice it, unless it's a soup. Like we're very fortunate that, well, it has been more since they cut down all the trees in my backyard, which is a whole nother thing. But
is that an HOA rule?
Well, no, the houses just around me decided.
Oh, they all decided. They were like, no more trees.
Yeah, because the two houses, like the house directly behind me and the house diagonal to me, they both moved out and they're selling their homes. And I guess either the new people or they cut it down to sell the home. I don't know. They did it in the process of selling. So
yeah, I know that like this house was like technically cheaper because it has a lot of tree cover, and I guess in Florida that's a bad thing. But personally, I love it. Yeah,
it really helps with the cost of, your home or whatever.
Yeah, and also just going out in my backyard, I'm not like sweltering. Like I can go read in the afternoon in my backyard and not die.
Exactly.
But I am perpetually covered in leaves. I feel like Radagast at all times. I'm just constantly got twigs and moss in my hair.
Just from like going outside?
Yeah, honestly, it's wild. Oh. These trees produce so much. They're like really old oak trees, and they're huge. And they have so many like layers of branches that they're pretty much constantly raining something down. Like it's like one day I will blow off my dock.
Yeah.
If you call it that, my little like wooden porch thing. And get it all nice and pristine. I'm like, great. And then like the next morning, it's like got a decent amount of leaves on it. And I'm just like, okay, well, by the end of the week, it's going to be right back to where it was.
Oh man. There's a couple houses in our neighborhood that have maple trees. I think they're maple trees, but they do like right now they're even changing color and falling, which is crazy because it's, Florida. So I'm like,
yeah,
what's happening? But I love it because it's like the only evidence of fall here. It's like I can just walk past those houses happening. And I'm like, I should get a maple tree, or I think it's a maple tree in my house.
Yeah, I think so.
In my yard, because that would make me so happy. Even though there's
we were seeing that in Vermont, and there were like it's always just the maple leaves that turn first, I think.
Oh, okay, so that must be it. But I'm like, how do you grow here? But whatever.
How do you grow here? Answer.
But
that's the thing. Like there are some trees that I really love, and I'm like, oh, I would love to have one of those at my house. But it's just so sad because like I never will. Like even if I plant it now, like how many? It'll take like 50 years for it to get to a meaningful size, and then I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah, you might not even live there anymore. So yeah. But anyway, I was gonna say like that. I always say that I would love to have that tree, but there's like leaves everywhere in their yard, like all over their driveway, all over their front, their lawn, all over the street. So like, I don't know how much upkeep that is, if they have to clean it every day or every week, or I don't know, whatever. So I was like, it'd be really nice. I don't know, maybe put it in my backyard so HOA doesn't bother me about it if the leaves fall.
Yeah, once it's a big tree, they can't do anything, right? It's like, well, I don't know how they got there.
Yeah. I don't know where all these leaves. There's no problem with leaves. I don't have leaves problem.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sweeps up leaves.
Yeah, but speaking
of kicks beautiful autumnal leaves under your car.
Yeah, right. Well,
I don't know what you're talking
leaves, about. What? But yeah, I love it, and because right now everybody keeps talking about fall and about like Halloween and all these things, and I've been watching Disney streams of the Halloween stuff that's going on at Disney, because sometimes we'll watch just like as a nightcap. We'll watch like Disney streamers. Have you ever watched them?
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But they're live streamers, and they have like schedules that they go, and there's streamers every single day. So you could probably turn on it right now and there'd be a streamer. That
feels like a weird thing to do in Florida, where you could probably just go to Disney.
Well, I know, but you don't have to deal with all the crowds. You could just like,
true.
Whatever. I don't know. But I always kind of thought it was super lame. Like I thought, Disney streaming, like who wants to do that? Who wants to watch that? But then we started watching it, and then we found ourselves like coming back to it night after night just to see like, because I mean, they're walking around Disney. There's always something going on. They always pass something. They show like the parades. They show the fireworks show. They show the different shows, and they also go on all the rides. So they film the rides, and I don't know. That's cool. Kind of lame, but like I wouldn't want to do it every single day. But if you're ever really,
I don't know about the rides, but like, yeah, I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Mike likes it more than me, but it is something.
Now you're pawning it off. You're like, well, it's more Mike's thing, actually. I don't know. Well, now that I said it out loud, it sounds like.
No, I mean it is, because he's the one that always like comes back to it. But I'm like, and I kind of got sick of it after a while, because we were literally watching it every single night, and I was like, okay, like how many more? I
wonder though if this would solve, like, if they can get like a 360 cam, like where you could get some VR and like feel like you're really there. I wonder if this will solve like a lot of crowding issues.
Maybe, but see, that's
like, I wonder if people would be more inclined to do that, and then like not really have to have the feeling of standing in a gross crowd while also still being able to enjoy like the parades and
from the
fireworks
of your
and stuff.
Air conditioning. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's super hot. They're like sweating to death, and I'm like, oh, I would not want to be there right now. But this is interesting. But so it's kind of fun that way. But Mike was kind of saying, yeah, like he's surprised that Disney lets them do that, but actually sometimes Disney will invite them, so it's obviously helping them more than hurting them, I would think. And they actually have, surprisingly, like I had no idea, but apparently they have like tons of fans from all over the world, these streamers. So because like people from other countries can watch, obviously, and they're like, oh, it's because of you I came to Disney. Like they'll stop them and talk to them, and so
interesting. They must be pretty easy to spot with like the camera.
Yeah, and they do show themselves sometimes. Not all, most of it's their view.
Do they have like a head-mounted camera, or are they just walking around like with their phones? You think?
I think it's different for different people, but I think a lot of them just hold it, which I think is like ridiculous, because they stream from like for, well, I would say it starts like, they usually do evening streams, the ones we watch, because it's always in the evening. So I'm sure there's day ones. But it usually starts at like 4 and it goes all the way till after midnight. So it's a long time, but yeah.
Have you seen I don't know how to say his name, Francis Borges? Francis Borges. He's the goofiest dude, but he does he's one of these people that I can't tell if his personality is ironic. You know?
Yeah.
Like kind of like Report of the Week, like the vampire looking kid that we've talked about before. This guy is like, he's on TikTok and he's got like the most ridiculous head cam where it like he will shoot his own face and then also like the trains, and he just like, I guess, goes out to like rails and looks at trains and watches trains go by and gets excited about different types of trains that he finds. And then like, I guess the camera pointed back at him is supposed to be like his reaction cam, but it is like
creepy. That's weird.
It is the most absurd angle. That's like the top down fish eye of like his face. He just looks like, he looks like a fish.
How weird.
And yeah, it is so bizarre. Yeah, I assume you found him, but that's how you spell his name.
Francis.
In the chat.
Okay. I was typing Freddy for some reason.
And yeah, he has some of the most bizarre like selfie camera angles, and it's so funny. And he is so enthusiastic about trains, and like in the dorkiest way, but it's like also just sort of adorable. And I assume he's memeing. I don't know. I haven't looked that much into him.
Yeah, that's funny. It would sound something like Part of the Week is similar, where it's like he's being serious, but is he really? You don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's another that's another like streaming thing that's really nice to watch at night as a decompression. Is like, I think we talked about it. This like trains.
Yeah, it's so relaxing.
Yeah,
it's great. I like to put that on in a little fireplace. For some reason, I don't know why. I want to be next to a like crackling fireplace on a train. I don't even think that's possible anywhere except for like old coal trains where you're like shoveling the coal.
Except for on the internet. You could do anything on the internet. Yeah,
except for on the internet. Well, that's about all the time we got, folks. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, go check out a stream.
Yeah, we got go check out one of these streams we're on about. Perhaps Francis. How would you pronounce that? Borges?
Francis?
Hang on, I'm going to Google. I'm going to ask Google.
Bourgeois. I don't know.
Bourgeois.
It sounds sounds French.
Francis Bourgeois.
Oh, he's a train spotter. His real name is Luke Nicholson.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting that he has a stage name on social media.
He's a social media personality.
What the? It's trying to get me to... Google is like, practice pronouncing this name. Oh, his name is Bourgeois. Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Baloney is still the most baloney word to me. All right, that's all we have. The time we have, everybody. Thanks for stopping and watch one of these streams.
We're out of here.
Peace out.
Bye.
I love you, that's why I say cheerio, not goodbye. Remember our old tune, be back soon.
How do you feel about baloney?
Ew. I feel it's gross. Well, I don't know. Again, there's like this nostalgic feel to it where I ate it a lot growing up that, you know, I can appreciate it. But I've never once gone out of my way to get bologna as an adult. So that's how I feel about it.
True. How about that like weird like clown meat? You know what I'm talking about?
Clown meat? I don't know. No, I don't.
I'll have to send you a picture.